Hey, so welcome back. This video is actually going to be a part two of my testimony. Um, this goes into a lot more detail. I left off some stuff the first time because it sounded really crazy, but then I watched a few videos that were actually kind of similar, but they, compared to those, mine's pretty normal actually. So, um, I hope this helps somebody because it's really been weighing on me to make this video here lately, and I've been putting it off because it's one of the harder videos I have to make. So, um, I had to go ahead and make it though because now it's I'm not really. Anyways, so the way all this started was I've always said, well, for several years now, I've always said my house is haunted. And it's not just me that felt this way. Like, we would often hear people talking outside or go out there and look, and there wouldn't be anybody around. And other people that came to my house actually heard this too. Um, we would lay down at night and hear a radio or TV or something, but then there wouldn't be nothing on in the house. Or um, it sounded like people would be walking in my house, and there wouldn't be nobody else here or whatever, So it got worse and worse, and so a couple years ago, probably about two or three now, um, I was laying in bed one night and I actually heard. Well, let me back up a little bit because before that, I had a lot of trouble sleeping. It was like I could feel this presence, this evil presence in my house constantly. I don't know if other people felt this, but I know I felt it really strongly. And it was always like it had something against me. Like it hated me. And it was always, I could always feel this evil presence. It just got worse and worse every time. And it never really went away. It actually, over the last few years, it got worse until it reached a point. But I was laying in bed one night after all this started because it was really bad at night. It got really bad whenever I was trying to sleep. It was like I was constantly being tormented and I couldn't sleep. I could always feel it, and it literally kept me from sleeping. And whenever I tried to close my eyes, it just intensified. All that stuff, it was worse. So, um, that night when I was laying there and I was getting ready to go to sleep, I heard a voice ask me if I was ready to join Satan or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. I can't remember if they promised me anything. I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, he asked me and he promised me this or that," and I can't even remember that. And I thought I was like, no, I know it woke me. I was at a point where I was getting ready to go to sleep, and I was dead awake after that. I could not go back to sleep. I know my initial response was no, but then I was scared to death for like a week straight, and I really couldn't sleep then because I couldn't remember, or I couldn't. I was hoping that he got my no answer or whatever, but I was really scared at that point. So, um, that's when it started really getting bad. Started really getting worse. Was after that. So I'm assuming my answer was no, and that he got that because it got very, very bad after that. Like all those feelings, it was like there's even more evil presence around me. There was even more, and then it got worse. Whenever I tried to go to my car in the mornings, it was even worse. I could feel it. I had to cut on lights all over the place, and it used to get on my husband's nerves because I would go in our bedroom and I would cut the light on and look around real fast and cut it off and jump in bed, and he hated that. So it actually started causing a lot of problems between us too during that time. Um, It actually got so bad at one point, my husband's talking about putting cameras up so he could monitor the ghost activity or whatever is what he said. And I was like, no, no, we're not putting cameras up in this house. Have you ever watched TV? Cameras make ghosts angry. We're not going to make this any worse than what it is. So I just did my best to try to ignore it because I didn't want to deal with that. And so, even back then as a sinner, I kept getting the feeling that Satan was trying to build up his team. He was trying to gain more followers or whatever. So, it got really, really bad. But then I'm a crocheter, and I like to make these little amigurumi things. And this actually you'll find out why this was really bad whenever I get to the end of this. But I like to make those little amigurumi things, which is like basically these little stuffed animals. And I got this pattern. It was for a Smurf, but I had red yarn, and I was looking at like little devil patterns. And so for whatever reason, I decided to make a Smurf devil. Well, it wasn't meant to be a Smurf devil. It was just a devil to begin with, but it still looked like a Smurf too. So I made basically a little devil, okay? And I just thought it'd be a cute idea. I didn't think anything about it. Well, everything actually got worse after that. And I know I keep saying that, but there was actually points to where it actually did get worse. And so I kept this thing in a certain room upstairs. And whenever I would go up there, I would feel that evil presence even stronger. Which sounds kind of crazy. But it got really bad, the torment that I was facing every day and the evil presence I was constantly feeling, that I really felt it at night whenever I was trying to sleep. It was like the torment just wanted to keep me awake. It was I don't know. And I got to a point to where I couldn't hardly stay awake during the day. I was so tired because I wasn't sleeping at night hardly at all. I was constantly waking up or not being able to sleep because I could feel that, and the stuff that was going on, and the torment that I was facing. So I was taking like stuff all day long to help me just to stay awake to work. And even then I was really tired. I was coming home every day from work, taking a nap just to try to make it to that night when I could go back to bed, and then usually not sleep because of the torment. Yeah. So it got a lot worse this year. The stuff that I was taking to help me stay awake wasn't really working as well anymore, and it was just getting worse. The activity was getting worse. Everything going around in my house was getting worse, and I just couldn't stay awake anymore hardly. So it was sometime this year actually that I started seeking God, and I'm not sure exactly what made me decide to do that, but I did. And actually, it never really occurred to me up until this point. I guess it did. It was just always, Satan getting in my mind and telling me something different or whatever. And so I just didn't. So this year, I guess it was around May or June or whatever, I did really start seeking God. And I was really trying to live right, and I did, actually start praying and talking to God regularly and trying to live right. But I was doing an absolutely terrible job. Even though I was trying, and I really wanted to, I was failing constantly. I was not doing a good job at all. I was trying to quit cussing, and every time I turned around, I'd be cussing something, I'd be cussing somebody or whatever, even though I know a lot of people thought that I didn't have a whole lot that I had to change or a lot that I had to give up, but they were really wrong. There was a lot that I had going on and I had to work on, and I had to have God, God help me with that because I had to ask him, because I was doing terrible. Um I was still really angry. I was still very easy to anger at that point. I go off with a drop of a hat. I still uh I was trying to do better, but I still had a whole lot of hate in my heart, and I guess at that point I still hadn't fully accepted Jesus into my heart, and that's why I still had all that hate and all that anger and all that stuff going on because, I was trying to do it on my own and I couldn't because I was doing awful. Um, so I went to work as normal, still feeling like a failure, and when I come home, I was still, really beating myself up because I was really trying and I was not getting anywhere, and I was really seeking God at that point, but well, I was seeking Jesus, but I wasn't doing a very good job of it. So I laid down to take my nap like I usually did, and I was just trying to go to sleep. And I was thinking about everything, and I was thinking about how much I was failing, and how terrible I was doing, and I was thinking about Jesus and stuff that's going on, and all of a sudden I hear, "Are you ready to fully accept Jesus into your heart?" And without thinking, I said, "Absolutely." And that was the moment that my entire life changed. All the hate and all the anger and everything that was built up, God took away in a second. And I mean, it literally changed. The people around me even noticed this change. And I am truly grateful for that for every day. I normally don't cry in my videos, but this one is actually the roughest one I've had to do. And there's a reason why I left all this stuff out to begin with, because this is really rough on me. So, he did take all that away immediately, and that changed. A noticeable change that the people around me could actually see. They could notice. I was getting some strange looks for a while, but even whenever there come times that would have normally been arguments, because me and my husband used to argue about everything. Some of the stupidest stuff that you wouldn't even think is something to argue about, we did all the time. Every time we turn around, if we go by a week without arguing, it was probably because we ain't seen each other. So, I mean, it was that bad. But after I fully accepted Jesus in my heart and into my life, I couldn't argue anymore. I didn't have that anger and that hate and everything built up, or all that, I just couldn't. And even times when there was a come up something that we would normally argue about, we didn't. I was just like, I'm not arguing with you. We can talk later. Or, he would start yelling and I'd be like, no. And we would just try to talk about it later whenever we actually could without arguing. So the only thing I really had to deal with after that was I actually did have to ask and pray about getting help quit cussing. That was one of the things, because I cussed a lot. And getting rid of that was rough. But, God did help. After I asked him, the only time I really cuss now is when I get around my husband, who cusses a lot. So, that, yeah, if it hadn't been for God stepping in there, then I probably would still be trying to work on that today, actually. So, as soon as I accepted Jesus too, one thing I noticed was the torment that was going on at night, that I was constantly suffering, that was keeping me awake and making me so tired during the day. It automatically stopped. I didn't have that anymore. I didn't feel that anymore. The only thing I still had at that point was whenever I went upstairs, I would still feel that evil presence. Or when I went outside, I would still feel that evil presence. And I kept hearing, you need to get rid of that. And I would see the devil I made in my mind, okay? An image of it. You need to get rid of it. Constantly hear this. Every day. You need to get rid of it. You need to get rid of it. You need to get rid of it. And I couldn't figure out, I didn't really know for sure that was God. I just thought maybe I shouldn't have it, So I was like, okay, I'll get rid of it. But then I would go up there and I would come back downstairs, and of course I felt the evil presence, and I didn't want to go right back up there whenever I remember downstairs because I forgot. So I'd be like, well, I'll get it next time I go up there. And then I will go back up there and come back down and forget. And I didn't want to go back up again. So it was this constant, this went on for a while. And then finally, one day, even after I thought, okay, I'll get rid of it, I was like, well, I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to give it away because then somebody else might wind up with it, and I don't want to put that on them. I don't know about throwing it away. They still might get a hold of it, and all I could see was me burning it. And so I was like, man, I worked hard on that. I don't know about burning it either, but that's what I kept seeing constantly. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get rid of it. I'll go ahead and burn it. All right. So I went upstairs, forgot what the reason was that time. And I walked in the room where it's at, and I started to walk out. And then for some reason, I just stopped at the door. And I was like, what? Did I forget something? And I kept getting this feeling like I forgot something. So I turned around. And the first thing I see, my eyes stop right on that. And I was like, oh yeah. So I got it, and I brought it downstairs. And I took it outside, and I started to burn it. But if you've ever tried to burn acrylic yarn, you'll know that it doesn't burn very well. It more so kind of melts. And so I did that. But it took a little while to get it started. So I'm sitting here watching it burn, and it's still keeping the same shape. So I was waiting on it to burn completely so I could kind of spread it out so it didn't still have the same shape since it kind of melts. And as I'm watching it burn, my dog actually looks over to where we usually hear these voices at and just starts barking and staring over that way. So it gets done burning, and I did spread it out, and I came back in. And it was later on that day, I think, or the next day, I had to go upstairs. And the first thing I noticed when I went upstairs is I no longer felt that evil presence. I didn't feel that anymore. I didn't feel that hatred that was going on. It was completely gone. And then when I had to go out to my car to go to work, I didn't feel that evil presence anymore. It was completely gone. That's been a few months, a couple months actually, and I haven't felt it since. That's why I say those battles that you might be going through, are a whole lot easier when you have Jesus in your heart, because God takes over those battles and you don't have to worry about them. And it's also why I say it really doesn't matter what you've done, you're not past redemption. Because I know the dark place that He pulled me out of, and I've heard a lot of the stories of other people, and He's pulled them out. And if He's done that for me, and if He's done that for them, then He can definitely do that for you. Trying to think if there's something I left out. I think that's it. And I hope this helps somebody, and I hope that y'all enjoy the video, and may God bless you all. Thanks for watching.